Skagway News played a big part in what went on. The Golden North Hotel is the oldest hotel in all of Alaska. And in room 14, they have an entity named Sarah that turns on the water and will turn on the lights. We've got the Klondike fry bread. And if you can imagine, this street, Broadway, no blacktop, no sidewalks, just the big front buildings, and you'd be walking into a tent. At that time, there were 80 bars and saloons and 100 soup kitchens. Yeah. Now coming up on the right.
Wow.
Look far right. That is the Skagway Brew Company. That is where the Alaskan beer is brewed. The Smooth Tip beer. We've got Skagway Hardware. That is like our Walmart. That is it. That's the only store we've got, and the grocery store. And right up here to the right, we've got an old refurbished cigar shop. Soapy Smith would sell cigars out the front and ladies out the back. So you can see those two cribs back there. If you looked in the window, the beds are about this wide, not for sleeping. They were called soil doves back in the day. Here's the days of '98. They tell the story of Soapy Smith, the uncrowned king of the underworld. And we've got a lovely up in the window. Longest running play on Broadway. And this is Broadway Street. We're moving into the financial district, Wells Fargo, and we're out of the financial district. The U.S. Post Office, Alaskan Liquor Store, Skagway Inn. And that is your town.
And high above, you can just make out the peaks of the Sawtooth Mountains. Now these are the tallest mountains we have in this area, at roughly 7,200 feet in elevation, and all of this. that you are one of these stampeders, tired, dirty, and completely worn out. It has taken you at least 2 days to make your trip from Skagway to the summit, and you'll have to stash this load and turn around and make the trip another 30 to 40 times, depending on how much you can carry. No wonder when the railroad was completed to the summit in February of 1899, now just a comfortable 2-hour ride from Skagway, the old trail was quickly abandoned. We are going to get closer and closer to this historic trail until we actually merge, and we will be riding in the same spot trod by the stampeders and their pack animals so many years ago.
and you'll see most of the times they just pretty much eat the bellies out of the females because that's where all the innards are, all fatty eggs and all the inner guts and stuff. And then they'll peel the skin off of them. They'll rip all the skin off because that's where that layer of fat is between the skin and the meat.